Count 1, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in Count 1 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 2, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in Count 2 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 3, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in Count 3 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 4, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of lewd act upon a minor child as charged in Count 4 of the indictment, dated June 10th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 5, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in Count 5 of the indictment, dated June 10th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 6, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of attempting to commit a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in Count 6 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 7, verdict.
Not guilty 10 times. Not guilty for Michael Jackson. In California, a dramatic conclusion to one of the most sensational trials in entertainment history. Jackson, one of the most popular recording stars in history, was this afternoon cleared of child molestation and all other charges after 14 weeks of often lurid testimony. He appeared to dry a tear or two as the court clerk read the verdict that exonerated him on all counts. His legal victory could not have been any more clear or any more convincing. This evening, Michael Jackson is a free man. ABC's Jim Avila covered the entire trial.
Charlie, there were tears in the faces of at least 2 of the jurors, and as you say, Michael Jackson did dab his face with Kleenex. At his defense table, one of his attorneys was sobbing uncontrollably, and his prosecutor nemesis, well, his face was red, as Michael Jackson was totally vindicated. 10 times he heard not guilty. Santa Barbara County spent more than $2 million and 4 months of trial for this.
Not guilty of a lewd act upon
Michael Jackson is a free man, found not guilty of child molestation, conspiracy, and providing alcohol to a minor. Jackson, who appeared fragile and afraid as the trial wrapped up, today again looked frail, but managed to wave to his about 1,000 fans who stood outside the courtroom.
There's an old saying in the law, where there's smoke, there may be fire, but in this case the jury found that there was no fire, just smoke.
It was a stunning across-the-board victory for the Jackson defense team led by Los Angeles civil rights attorney Tom Mesereau. He spent 13 weeks of trial testimony directly attacking the credibility of the boy and his family, who together accused Jackson of 4 separate counts of child molestation and a 5th count of attempted abuse. The jury spent nearly 25 hours deciding Jackson's future, and when it came down to it, just could not put him behind bars, in the word of a family so troubled.
I'm not going to look back and apologize for anything we've done. We did a very conscientious, thorough job, as did the Sheriff's Department, investigating this case.
The biggest problem for Tom Sneddon and his prosecutorial team, clearly the mother of the accuser, who was portrayed successfully as a welfare cheat who lied under oath in a previous court case. She was on the stand for 5 days and systematically destroyed her son's case.
I think we all just looked at the evidence and pretty much agreed.
What's next for Jackson? His health and financial future have been shaky, and family members say he will move to fix both fronts immediately. Now, Jackson left court immediately afterwards without any comment. He went home to Neverland, where he's not yet been seen. As for the prosecutor, when asked if he was through with his pursuit of Michael Jackson, he would only say no comment. Charlie?
Jim Avila reporting from Santa Maria in California. ABC's Cynthia McFadden followed the entire trial, joins us now here in New York to help analyze the verdict. Cynthia, hindsight 2020, but should these charges have been brought in the first place?
I think so, Charlie. I think when a child makes a credible claim against someone who the prosecutor knows has settled multi-million-dollar judgments for similar claims in the past, those charges need to be taken seriously. So I think it was fair to file the charges.
So then the other question is, why did the prosecution lose this, a complete victory for the defense?
You know, I think in this instance, some of the reasons and some of the problems that we knew from the outset, the prosecutor doesn't get to pick his victim or his victim's family. There were credibility problems from the very beginning with both the boy and his mother. And I think the jury at the end of the day decided that those credibility problems were just insurmountable.
So many times the prosecution brought up a witness that did not do what the prosecution said that witness would do. A sloppy prosecution?
And you bring up, I think, the final and most important point. The prosecution didn't have its ducks in a line. There's no question that this prosecution was not as well conducted as perhaps it could have been. And perhaps there could have been a victory if the case had been better and more if presented in a more focused way.
All right, Cynthia McFadden, our chief legal correspondent. Thanks.